Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with another online multiplayer team. But today we've got a little bit of a twist. We don't need to talk about it too much right now because you'll see later on, but we actually swap up the gear and positioning a little bit about this team partway through, and this is going to let you see how we make small adjustments to a team based off of actually playing with them, making theories, and like kind of acting on those
the
theories.
rationale behind how we ultimately demonstrate a particular team, right?
Yeah, so this is a multiplayer team, but it's also partly how to put together a multiplayer team, how to pick the gear for a multiplayer team, and how to decide what a character should do.
So pointing out, the star of this team is going to be Static. So he's got our two power gen gears with Tantu Totem and Master's Death Cart, and he's also going to have Ibis Stick, mainly because of one sort of secret.
Yeah, probably a glitch.
Yeah, so some people have speculated that the reason why it happens is because the game is registering each of his special two finishing hits as a trigger for the Ibis Stick.
Yeah.
So the Ibis Stick is supposed to give you 10% for each special, and it gives you way more. So that basically, if your special two hits, you're going to have enough for all the health to be bled away, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that here because he's not going to have much left anyways.
Yeah, here it won't make much of a difference at all. No difference, actually.
Yeah. So the interesting part, so here clearly, Static is a star. One thing that makes it interesting, though, is you're not always going to be doing a special 2. Right here, we're doing special 1. The problem with special 1, if there is going to be one, is that if they don't block, they'll be stunned, but they will also generate a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
So Rebirth Raven is the perfect companion because she can steal it. So you give them some, and then you steal it from them. But that's 2 special specialists.
Yeah.
Even though her gear loadout is mainly to boost her special 2 damage without any power generation. So that leaves 1 slot for a basic damage dealer and a tank. And I think, I guess you saw with Black Knight Batman,
yeah,
that the compromise was keeping him out of first slot, because anytime you have Astral Harness, you don't want them in first slot, so you can control their first invulnerability time it.
Yeah, you can control and proc it.
Right, so if somebody happens to have 3 bars, for example, when you're playing against Killing Joker, you can tag him in just to eat either a special or a super.
Mm-hmm.
But it means that his basic damage is a little bit less, and it means he's not that great a tank. If anything, Astral Harness is just making him a little bit sturdier, simply because his health is relatively low for what he does. And the beauty of this is actually, because Static's special 2 is doing so much damage, we're not even getting to see the fact that his damage over time is kind of spectacular.
Yeah, so I mean, you can obviously see that at a different point. We'll be able to see that later, maybe a little better when their stats are higher. But in the meantime, it doesn't matter. If you can't see the damage over time, it actually is better because it means that you're getting your power back consistently.
Yeah, somebody was asking us about potentially doing a team without some of the legendary gears, and I think that's not a bad idea. It's just it's so much fun playing with guys that, to me, it's doing the specials and doing a lot of them.
Yeah.
It makes it more than just a swiping blocking game.
Mm-hmm.
Because then there's a little bit of planning involved in terms of how to maximize the damage, but also maximize the opportunities to really roll over the guys.
And I mean, also, without making it like a lot more challenging, you narrow down your options of who you can actually pick if you're using worse gears. The problem is it used to be easier to use lower gears, and we used to make a point of it, right? Actually having the number in, I think, every one of our videos once we decided for their gear score.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because this is going to be an example. He's bleeding out. He bled out more than half his damage and damage over time.
Yeah. So because at the time it didn't matter the same way, because no gear was spectacular, because you were looking at like incremental improvements on stats that you could already, for the most part, access in other places, and with other gear, it wasn't as big a deal. Now with these gear, they totally transform the way that you play enough that it's really hard if somebody else has a bunch of them and you don't have any. Right. It's really hard to counter against that. It's hard to have a strategy for actually beating those people and those teams.
Right. So that was an example where I was trying to take advantage of Rebirth Raven's ability, and I came just a little bit short in terms of the power that she's able to steal. I was hoping she'd have a special 2, and that's why I sort of paused a bit before I did the special 1, because what I was really hoping was that, we just... I love doing like high damage specials and getting bars of power, so I was hoping to get that second bar. But here we go. So she's probably gonna be knocked out, so it won't matter. But if she isn't, yeah, not enough. That's okay. So this is maybe going to be part of the whole how to create an MP team, because based on first impressions, this is what we wanted to do, and then as we play it, you get a sense of, okay, so this is what's not working the way I expected it to, and this is how I'm going to make the adjustments.
Yeah. And that's, I think, unless you're taking somebody else's team recommendation a lot more wholesale, this is usually how it goes. It's not super common that you find exactly the right gear loadout instantly. There's sometimes you can find one that's more than good enough that'll work for what you need it to do. For example, if you think of the Cloak of Destiny and you look at Batgirl and you just try to gear up for that, maybe you think of the splash damage, right? So you got most of what a thing is. And in that case, it's really easy to figure out what 2/3 of the gear is.
Right.
And then you want to try to mess around a little bit with the third one. You mess around, especially a lot of the changes I find often happen in ways that aren't as important most of the time, because you've got a third gear slot or just options for a gear to put, and you're not 100% sure which one's going to be best, and that's a little more incremental. Yeah. And then sometimes when you pick a set of gear, you realize that the kind of fundamental strategy that it's based around isn't as good.
Okay, so this is the perfect opportunity for just not quite enough power. Oh, and he had did he have protection from power drain? All right, so this is going to be the opportunity. We want to leave Blackest Night Batman off the screen until Killing Joke Joker, until we know that we're not going to have to worry about Killing Joke Joker coming in and giving these guys 3 bars.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to avoid using Blackest Night unless I happen to touch the button by accident. Oh, too bad. This would have been perfect time to do a special 2 because of the bleed. Or sorry, the damage over time would have been kind of spectacular again. There you go. Now let's steal some. Turns out that we don't need to worry about Killing Joke Joker.
Or at least probably. It's possible.
Yeah, well, we've still got our invulnerability, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is... Let's hope he blocks. I'd like to see him block. You disappoint me, Superman. Won't be the first time. Alright, so now let's generate a bit more power. Let's hope he doesn't get knocked out, and then we can have Raven come in and steal the rest of his... Oh, too bad.
Knocked out.
Well,
That's
I guess...
okay, no health.
Yeah.
when you look at it this way, it doesn't actually seem like that was much of a loss.
But Static is a star. I mean, Static is... I don't see him on enough teams, and he's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
If there is a weakness, the only weakness really is that if a special one doesn't knock the other guy out, and he doesn't have something left over after he stunned them, they've got a bunch of power from so many hits. Because every hit of a special gives them more power. I think the highest power is from doing attacks yourself, but I'm not sure, like regular basic damage. And then the next is from getting hit by a special. Alright, so, yeah, I'm just thinking there's not really much else. The cool thing is, with Master's Death Cart, you're still going to generate the power even if it doesn't hit them. Oh, beauty. Alright, so this is the perfect opportunity for Raven. Oh, except power drain. You know, honestly, I wish I'd been paying more attention. I probably should have been. That was not ideal.
Hopefully we can block.
Right, because he starts with 2 bars. He had Tantu, so he got...
Oh, not a great block either. Uh-oh. Well...
Oh, so that's immunity from Batmobile. So if he doesn't take any damage at all, we'll get our power back. Oh, too bad he didn't block. I'd still really like to see bleeding out completely from the damage over time. And the... Oh, crap. Alright, so let's see what gear shattered. I hope it was not Tantu Totem.
Was not.
Oh, this is where you see the advantage of Arkham Knight Catwoman, because Arkham Knight Catwoman...
It wouldn't rinse out.
Right, so once his invulnerability's over, he'd still have a ton of
damage
splash damage.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right, it's damage over time. I'm getting all the terms mixed up, I was just thinking...
That's okay. We knew what you meant. I definitely knew what you meant.
Alright, so, you know, it's not a bad team.
Yeah.
But I think the adjustment I'd like to make is, because Rebirth Raven she's not hitting your special 2 so much. I don't really need to boost your special 2 so much with all 3 gear pieces.
Yeah.
Switch her out to second slot so you get the advantage of being able to tag in and steal power. And since you've got to have her in the second slot anyways, right? And so does Static because he's our special specialist and he's got to tag in to generate power. She could have her Astro Harness, and then she'll also be our putative tank, leaving our Blackest Night Batman to be in first slot, but also to be a stronger basic damage dealer, which is really a good role for the first slot because you can soften up guys before you tag in Static if you need to.
Yeah, because in theory, gearing Raven up the way she's geared allows her to take advantage of her passive, but as we've seen, there's also a bunch of examples where relying on her using that passive like that, if you're not paying the right amount of attention, you will do it on somebody who resists it.
Yes.
And you've
Like
basically,
we just-
not only have you not done anything valuable, because you're banked on it for your strategy, you're kind of thrown off kilter.
All right, so what I should have done with Luchador Bane is just leave, instead of doing a special 2 immediately, just because I had the power bars, is to wait for the burning to take down his health, because that was actually doing a pretty good job, and he had blocked the special 2. Oh, so that still triggers last invulnerability. Oh, not quite close.
Oh, is there any one hit? No.
There we go. Okay. And that'll buy some time.
And then hopefully, if we... No?
Oh, the shield came down just in time. That's not a bad thing for the special 1, right? Especially when we got Tantu Totem on him.
Yeah.
Then you really are... Not only is it a great offensive gear, it's good defensive gear too, right? So we were trying to wait out their invulnerability, just do a quick special 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that it takes that kind of wonky amount of time.
Yeah. So clearly, Static is the star. So let's switch out our team, and we'll do another run in Ultimate. And so this is why we've discussed before why the order of the team members matters a lot in terms of what kind of strategy you're going to do. So we're going to swap out and put Blackest Night Batman in first slot. He's going to be all basic damage gear boosts. We're going to use Rebirth Raven a little bit differently so that she's in second slot. She's got Astro Harness, and she's got a couple of special 2 boosts, but not nearly, with the Astro Harness now, she's become our tank a bit too, right? And I guess that is useful because you want somebody for sure that's going to benefit from tagging in and out that you're going to keep around because Static's loaded to do specials, but also that when he needs to recover, it's tagging in and out to get the power again, right? If we don't happen to knock him out.
It's good. We're bumped back down to fight 1. They don't even have that great gear. Their gear is pretty...
Yeah, rudimentary.
Not even evolved, right? So they're losing out on abilities.
Okay. One thing I should probably do more often too is I've noticed that when you're when Master's Death card is generating power and hitting them, they're not blocking. So if you get the special 2, if you have enough power for special 2 so that it's still hitting them when you hit the second bar, you're tapping like a madman to try to do your special 2.
Yeah.
You typically get that unblocked.
Which is a fun little kind of quirk, right?
Yep.
That we can take advantage of, which is, honestly, I find it so impressive that we still find more of those as we play.
Yeah, little bits of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, more than fun, that's a strategy that actually does help, right? That does make the fights easier.
Yep.
It lets you win more consistently. It lets you, make mistakes less.
Yeah.
Getting a guaranteed unblock is a lot more... Well, I guess it's technically not guaranteed. You still kind of have to play around it, but...
Right, so that was just using Blackest Night Batman to soften up a bit, just to be guaranteed the fact that you'll swap out. Yeah, see, he lost more than 10% health on that.
Wow.
Yeah, so, see, they need to block
like
more
nothing.
often. Yeah, like butter. And we didn't need Rebirth Raven. We didn't need Vulnerability. So it's still a bit of a compromise too, right? Because if you want to take advantage of her power drain, you're going to be using up an invulnerability, right? So, but a lot of times you don't need it just because on a team like this, Static is so powerful.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you have to make the choice, but at least you actually have that option.
Yeah, and so it's a compromise, so it's not maybe the perfect team, but it also means that for most fights, it's going to be plenty great.
There you go. These guys are actually rocking some more powerful gear.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Dawn of Justice Batman and Wally West are the two guys who dodge specials that you actually do need to worry about a little bit. If only because they will do damage. Oh. Block? He's not blocking. He's done. Oh, that was pretty good. What a difference. So, because we used Black and Snake Batman to soften him up, we were able to take out 2 with static.
Yeah, blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So I think it goes without saying, I think really the
11
star...
seconds. Quick fight.
That's not bad. The real star is static, but the other guys you have on the team are important too.
Yeah. What was the quickest, remember, that we got it down to, or it was basically instant? Or it was like one swipe combo or something like that? Or like a...
Oh, in an MP? I guess...
Not one swipe combo, was it?
In practical terms, I think you lose 2 seconds every fight, no matter what, because of the title.
6 seconds, or was it?
I think 6 seconds. I think it's possible to do 5,
Yeah.
maybe potentially 4, but I think somebody did that with Batman Beyond, because his special 2 is actually really good, does a lot of damage, and can hit over 3 different characters, right?
Yeah.
That's really the important thing. I mean, for example, Arkham Origins Batman, his special 2 can only hit one person at the most. One person at the most.
Wow, look at that, though. Seriously, static just cleans up, huh?
Yeah. And it's tempting then, when you have something like this,
Ooh.
to build a team where there's nothing else. Like, it's just static, and he tags in and that's it. The problem becomes if you run into somebody who's a little bit more difficult, let's say somebody who's got, like a revive.
Yeah.
And he eats the special, revives, and then you've lost your bars of power. Then you need somebody who, when they tag in, isn't just going to be, like a patsy.
Yeah. I don't always look at the environments. The pattern of those tiles on the floor looked pretty similar to what Static's board was made of.
Oh,
is that his board? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about the backstory.
They're definitely the same shape. I don't know if they're the same size or not.
Okay, yeah. So this is not demonstrating. I guess it's not a bad thing that it doesn't demonstrate what he can do
As far as damage over time.
As far as damage over, I think we saw it once in the first run. There we go. Ooh, maybe this is an opportunity to steal some power. Yeah. And because he's stunned, it makes it a lot easier to...
Ooh, are we gonna... Perfect.
Yeah, we took off his shield.
Took off his shield, and he's the last guy, so he's not getting that back anytime soon.
No. What would be cool, actually, we don't knock him out, and then we steal it again with Raven.
No. Oh, we did too much damage.
Yeah, that's the first time I've been sad that we critted on all those hits.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have swiped to 200%. I guess it's hard to...
It's a bad habit. It's like intentionally losing. They say that about sports teams sometimes when they intentionally tank, or they try to let the score run up. Sometimes it's a bad habit, and then when you really need to win, you don't.
Yeah. You always have to play like it's a serious game,
Alright,
so that way you know how to.
This is potentially the hardest fight because Arkham Knight Harley Quinn is the only person that discourages me from wanting to tag out, which this team relies on. Killer Frost is going to decrease the power generation, so there's 2 approaches you can take. You can either leave the first guy in a little bit longer to soften him up, or tag in Static and use Static to generate power. But because... Alright, so... One more round. Oh. I was thinking I'd get one more before she generated the first bar. And then see her... That's not bad.
Oh, wow. Just barely alive, huh?
I know. I hate even barely alive is still a huge tactical advantage because when they tag in, right? They've been generating power while they've been sitting on the bench for a bunch of time. See, this is... I hate that. Oh, she's blocking. Okay, so maybe this will bleed her out.
Hopefully.
Watch. Alright, so she's not going to have... Yeah, but I kept all the power, right? Like, it's not... I didn't want to take a chance of losing.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is potentially the hard... Like, 2 of the elements that I find the hardest. The only thing that was missing was somebody with Astro Harness. And when I say hard, I mean it just takes longer to win, not that there's a huge chance of losing. Really, when you've set up the team properly...
Yeah.
You've got the... sort of a safety net, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the guys on team have big offensive potential. Rebirth Raven is probably the least, but again, she's the tank, right? So the problem with this team is that if Rebirth Raven's last one, she's not the greatest tank. Not like, say, Flashpoint Aquaman, where he can do a lot of damage over time, so he could single-handedly take out an entire team. It would just take longer.
Yeah.
This will be fun. If we can generate enough power, I'd be tempted to tag in Rebirth. Ooh. Alright, so I could have...
Crit immunity.
Yeah. That's okay. He's got a bar. I'm going to steal it from him. And the... Oh, shoot. That would have been perfect time to actually do his damage over time and see how much it bled him. Ooh, he tagged out just in time to not let us have our Master's Death Card power. Yeah.
Dang it. Okay.
Alright, so now we're going to... So yeah, we had to bide the time until we were allowed to tag in Raven. We've stolen the power. Perfect. That's sweet.
Yeah, there you go.
And it takes care of his revive, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe lots more power. And this is perfect, right? Because he's got crit immunity. Oh, but he's going to get knocked out. Too bad.
Yeah.
Softy. And that's it. So I guess what you get there is a good example of not only the thinking behind how to set up a team, but then the kind of adjustments we make based on how it plays out and the kinds of things we see that we don't want or don't expect.
Yeah, so there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.